It's very important that you seek being uncomfortable early in life. It's very important that we start being uncomfortable, learning how to be uncomfortable very early in life. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of the times as a kid, when you're young, you want to have fun, you want to hang out with your friends, you want to do things that put you in a comfort zone. You want to do things that put you in a comfort zone, and you're also at a point in your life where the more you engage with things that provide comfort, it keeps you in such a familiar place of being comfortable to the point where when you start to want to thrive in life and you start to want to do things in life that's going to elevate your growth, elevate your life, put you in a winning position, it makes it very difficult to put yourself in a position to be uncomfortable, to further your life, to put you in the situations that's going to help you grow and reach your highest potential. For example, if you notice the elder community, like your aunt, your uncle, your dad, your mom, your grandparents or whatever, if you try to give them advice such as like, you should go out for a walk sometimes, you should take a trip, you should go on vacation sometimes. If you notice, a lot of the times they'll rebuttal back and say, nah, I'm good. I'm good with what I'm doing. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. I'm comfortable with being at home. I'm comfortable with when we go on vacations, I'm going to stay in my resort. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. Reason being is because they've already trained themselves. They've already trained themselves. Disregard the noise, y'all. It's a truck passing by, so my apologies. But they've already trained themselves to, be in a comfortable place from basically doing the same thing over and over and over to the point of no return, to the point of not wanting to change their habits, to the point of not wanting to change their ways, to the point of not willing to stretch themselves to remain uncomfortable. Even myself, when it comes to certain things, I've developed certain patterns and habits of certain things that wouldn't necessarily take me out of my element. Like right now, recording out in the public, I wouldn't necessarily record in the public. I would record, at home, or I would record like in my safe space. But I'm challenging myself. I'm being an example of what it is that I'm encouraging a lot of you guys to do, which is to, put yourself in an uncomfortable position, because those uncomfortable positions, my friend, hear me out. Those uncomfortable positions is really where you're going to thrive at life. Those uncomfortable positions is going to elevate your growth. Those uncomfortable positions is going to stretch you. Those uncomfortable positions lead you on your path to purpose. When you remain comfortable, my friend, you can't grow. You can't grow. You're more so in a settled situation, in a settled environment. Listen to the key word, settled. You're in a settled state of mind. You're in a settled position. And when you're settled, you can't rise, bro. You can't rise above. When you're settled, you can't explore. When you settle, you can't grow. And once you stop growing, it's almost like dying, bro. Once you stop growing, it's almost like you're dead. Once you stop growing, that's pretty much the end of your growth. So in order to keep growing, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions in order to keep going and growing and pushing, beyond your own limitations. The more uncomfortable you are, the more settled you are. It's pretty much like your life has come to an abrupt stop. And we don't want that. We don't want that. But when you put yourself in those uncomfortable positions, when you put yourself in those uncomfortable environments, just start paying attention to where you're at, where you stand in your life. Start paying attention to how much you gain. Pay attention to how much you gain when you put yourself in those uncomfortable places. So get uncomfortable early. Start early. Because the earlier you start, by the time you get into your 30s, you'll be comfortable being in those uncomfortable positions. Doing stuff like this will be natural for you. I didn't start my YouTube channel until a little bit later in life. When I first started, there's no way in the world that you could have told me to do this. When I first started, there's no way in the world that you could have told me to come outside with my camera around all of these people in this type of environment. I come from the concrete jungle, so this is definitely outside of my comfort when it comes to when I first started, as opposed to where I'm at right now. The reality is, challenging myself, challenging yourself is really how you get better, bro. It's just like going to the gym. If you just sit at home and remain in a sedentary environment, bro, you can't grow. You can't build no muscle that way. But it's not until you start adopting a habit of challenging your muscle. you know, getting down, doing push-ups. Yes, it's hard, but that's the heart that you want, bro. The reality is, bro, life is hard. One way or another, life is hard. You just got to choose your heart. You got to choose which path of heart that you're going to travel. You could travel the heart of being obese, living a sedentary life, not eating healthy, but then you start developing all of these health complications within your life in which that's hard. Or you can choose the heart of pushing yourself, maximizing yourself, doing the work, going to the gym, doing those push-ups, doing the things that's going to actually grow you. That's a different type of heart as well. The only difference between choosing that heart is that hard version of your life, that hard walk is actually going to elevate you. Choosing the heart of working through the pain, choosing the heart of stretching yourself, choosing the heart of doing those push-ups, choosing the heart of waking up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning every day so that you can improve your life, choosing the heart of getting to that workout, getting to the gym, choosing the heart of journalizing your day, choosing the heart of working that vision that you've been pretty much wanting to do all your life, choosing the heart of doing the work every day. When you choose that heart, you get something out of it. When you choose that heart, you receive gain, you receive reward. But when you choose the heart of saying, nah, I'm going to settle, when you choose the heart of saying, nah, I ain't going to get up, I don't feel like going to the gym, I don't feel like, today I'm going to push it off till tomorrow when it comes to working that business or working towards that business or that dream that I had. When you choose that heart, you get nothing done. There is no gain. There is nothing that you receive when you choose that path of heart. But on the other hand, when you start putting in that work in that uncomfortable space, when you start putting in the work in that uncomfortable position, bro, the more you do it, the more you thrive. The more you do it, the more accustomed you get to it. The more you do it, you're rewiring your brain. You're training yourself how to get comfortable in those uncomfortable positions. You know, would I rather be out here doing this as opposed to doing it at home? To be honest with you, the idea of it, yeah, for sure, I'd rather be out here. But personally, it would be more comfortable for me to be at home. It would be more comfortable for me to do it at home. But if I really want to thrive and grow my channel, bro, if I really want to thrive and stretch my creative imagination, if I want to delve into my imagination and allow my creative juices to flow and be one with my creative juices and be one with being creative, then it's going to take for me to do some things different in my life, such as stepping outside of my comfort zone. And this is just an example. And the earlier you start in life of challenging yourself in that uncomfortable spot, bro, in that uncomfortable lane, traveling within that uncomfortable lane, the earlier you start, you get acclimated to it sooner than later. You get acclimated to growth sooner than later. You get rewarded sooner than later if you follow what I'm saying. The earlier you start, if you start at 17, 18, by the time you hit 20, you're used to it. By the time you hit 20, you've learned a lot in your journey from being uncomfortable. By the time you hit 25, you're a pro. By the time you hit 25, everything around you, you ain't worrying about it, bro. By the time you hit 25, you're further along. By the time you hit 25 and 30, bro, you're at an elevated place in your life. You're advanced in your life as opposed to starting late, as opposed to starting to stretch yourself and challenge yourself in those uncomfortable positions later. So I encourage you, my friend. I encourage you, my brother, to get started sooner than later. I encourage you, my sister, to get started sooner than later. You know, let today's message, let today's video be the boost that you need to get started now, to get started sooner than later. And this is not just for the young people. You know, some of us, we don't get our vision until later in life. I didn't realize I was going to be doing YouTube. I didn't realize that I was going to be doing YouTube the way that I'm doing YouTube now until later in life. But it's still early for you. You feel me? It's still early for you because that vision came to you early when it came to the idea of you wanting to do something different. It don't have to be YouTube, just using YouTube as an example. But that thing that you want to do, don't let it collect dust. Don't let it sit there. Don't let it stay there. You feel me? And like I said, it don't have to be where you're 17, 18 or young. You could be in your 40s. You could be in your 50s. And something new pops up in your vision in terms of something that you want to start doing. I'm just saying don't wait till you're 55. Don't wait till you're 60. Start doing it early. As soon as the vision hits you, as soon as the dream hits you, start. Start right away. You feel me? Start traveling that journey right away. Start being creative right away. You know, start working on yourself right away. Don't play around with it. You know, don't wait till it's too late. And don't wait till years go by, bro, to where, you look back one day in life and you regret the fact that you never got started. Start working on that journey sooner than later. Start getting uncomfortable sooner than later. Start training yourself how to get comfortable being uncomfortable sooner than later. Like I said, man, I did not see myself doing what it is that I'm doing. As somebody pulling up right now, they probably want this spot I'm in, but unfortunately, I'm here first and I got to work. But yeah, like today is not a sunny day, as you can see. It's not sunny. You know, of course, the invitation to stand in the house, of course, it's there. Of course, I was in my comfort zone. I was in my bed this morning. Of course, it's more comfortable being in the bed, bro, on a day like today. But nah, man, we got goals. We can't move like the weather. We can't move like the weather. If we move like the weather, everything will be inconsistent. If we move like the weather, everything will be inconsistent. All of our goals and every way that we're attacking it will be as inconsistent as the weather. So yeah, you got to get up, man. You got to get up on those days that it's raining. You got to get out on those days that it's raining. You got to get out on those days that you don't want to, so that you could propel your life, so that you can elevate your life. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable and stay there to keep growing. But yeah, this will conclude the video. If you guys appreciated it, feel free to share it with a friend. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you appreciated it. And contribute to the love muscle, man. The only thing I ask is that you guys lock in and turn on your post notification bell. That way you guys will not miss any video that I drop. Again, we drop daily. We drop consistent. You feel me? But anyway, as always, do what brings life to you. Do what brings life to you. And it's a great chance that you'll bring life to whatever it is that you do. You already know. Rain, sleet, or snow. The goal is to #grow. Peace and blessings. I will see y'all in the next one. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace and blessings. One love, strength.